Hey guys, what's going on? Luis here again, and I wanted to make a quick video today. I saw a quote on Instagram that I felt like I had to come here and just kind of talk about it and my experience with it and what I think of it as well. And the topic is consistency. And the quote that I read was the rarest of all traits in humans is consistency. And I think that is so powerful and very, very true. When we just look around you and you think of, the people that have done amazing things over time, and it's always the people that have been consistent with the actions that are going to take them to that level, right? So think of people like Steve Jobs or Jeff Bezos or any of the big athletes that you may follow or any other entrepreneur that you've been following and you see them and you think, wow, like how did they get there? How did they achieve that success? And how can I get to that, level in whatever it is that I'm doing? Whether you're playing basketball or you go to the gym or whether you're trying to start a business, there's always things and steps that you need to take care of in order to get there. But the reality is that you're not going to get there, in 2 weeks or 3 weeks or whatever the case may be, in months, years. It's going to take a lot of time, most often, right? And that's typically where people kind of start to fall off the tracks, is when they've been doing something for a short period of time and then they say, okay, that's it. I'm not made for this. I don't have what it takes. They get discouraged and they stop doing what is necessary to get there, right? And a lot of these things, like, it could be the smallest things ever, like sending emails. If you're building a business and you're trying to sell something, right? Sending emails consistently every single day. And the truth is, you're going to get so many rejections and you're going to feel like, this sucks. This is taking way too long. This is taking longer than I expected. And the reality is, it is going to take longer than you expected most often. So don't have, or try to have, very little expectations as far as how long it's going to take. Because if you really want to achieve that, right? If you really want to get to that level, if you really want to have the six pack abs, if you really want to just put a ton of muscle weight on, or whatever the case may be, it's going to take years of you doing the exact same thing to get to that end point that you're looking for. And the reality is, once you get to that end point, you don't even celebrate that as much as everything that you had to do to get there. And you see this everywhere, right? You see people that achieve something and it's just like, okay, like, now I have this, now what's next? Because they want to keep going, they have momentum. A lot of the times you also see people who, for example, are dying, right? People on their deathbeds, and you look at them and they're talking about the things that they went through. They never talk about the things that they achieved. I mean, they might, but they usually talk about the struggles, the things that tested them, the challenges that they had to face, the things that they overcame. That's what people remember. That's what people get very, very connected with and create those sorts of, attachments to. It's not having a nice car. It's not having, the biggest house on the block or whatever the case may be. Things that you need to do have to be done consistently over long periods of time. So if you want to start a business, you need to be doing the work every single day. You need to be going in, all cylinders essentially to get to that point to see the first sale, right? I remember when, I wanted to start my agency, and I was literally, so I worked at a different agency. I kind of got in there to learn the ropes and then start my own. Already had that in mind. And at first, I didn't have the right mindset. So what I did was I set up, a website, and I thought, okay, well, now the website's done. My job here is on. I have my agency. In reality, I had nothing, because there was no clients. So then it was figuring out, okay, how do I actually get clients? How do we, start to get a little bit of traction? And it was just going home after a full day of work and figuring out, how do I need to find the right people? How do I contact them? What's going to sell? And it's still a work in progress up to this point. And that's the case with everything, right? Going to the gym every single morning, doing my workout to get to my goal, to achieve that goal. And once I do, then there's going to be a different goal. And it's just a ever ending cycle. And that's the case with everything, right? And you'll see that people typically actually give up right before they kind of see some success. And sometimes this happens, for example, just because like you've just done so much for so long that you just kind of get tired of it, right? And that's where people's, characters kind of come through, and you start to realize, who's got the drive, the motivation, the desire, the real desire to get to that are the people that will, but they're the people that are also willing to, you know, say, screw everything else, and this is the one I want, and that's what I'm gonna go get. So you have to say no to certain things. You have to, you know, take a look around and understand what's serving you, what's not serving me, and then try to pick and choose, which route do I want to go? What's going to help me get to that next level? There's also things that'll make your life easier, like auditing, the things that you're doing, what's going to be better for me, what's going to be worse for me, thinking about second, third order consequences and realizing, if I do this today, maybe I'm not going to be able to do this tomorrow, right? So, for example, a very easy example that a lot of people will do is, they want to go to the gym, they want to be consistent, and then the only time that they have, for example, is the morning to go work out, right? So they'll be on a little streak, and then they'll be like, oh well, I've done this for the entire week, I'm just going to take a day off and I'm going to have a little drink. Next thing you know, next morning they don't feel well, they don't feel up to it, so they don't hit the gym because they felt hungover, they just had a headache, or whatever the case may be. So you have to do those things over and over and over and over and over and over and over again in order to get to that place that you want to be. You can't take a break. You can't slow down, because once you start going for a little bit, that momentum is going to take you to the next level. That momentum is going to be what's keeping you going. And if that momentum is broken, that's where you kind of start to see a downfall, right? And you have to think about things with a compound type of mentality. And there's hundreds of books that talk about this, right? I mentioned one book already, which was High Performance Habits by Brendon Burchard. He talks about it. I think there's another book called the Power of Compounding or something like that. I forgot the exact title, but that's all it talks about, right? They're trying to bring one point home, and the point is, if you do things long enough for a certain period of time consistently, you're going to be able to see that growth that a lot of people call hockey stick, but it's not hockey stick. It's just all those little actions that you've been taking over a long period of time start adding up, and they see that growth. And you can see this with everything, right? So you'll see it with people going to the gym. You'll see it with finances, right? If you're investing your money every single month, you start to see your account grow. And the list goes on and on. So the moral of the story is, if you're trying to achieve anything, if you're trying to get from point A to point B, you can't take a break, right? Think of it like a car. If you're trying to get to a certain spot by a certain time frame, say, you have to keep going. You have to keep pressing on that pedal consistently. If you don't do that, it's going to take you longer. And it's also possible that you just completely come to a stop and don't get anywhere. So hopefully that's helpful for you guys. Let me know what you guys think. Feel free to, like the video, comment, subscribe. If you have questions about anything, feel free to drop them below. If you have ideas for videos that you maybe want to get my input on or anything like that, drop them in the comments. I'll get back to you. And thanks for watching. Appreciate you guys.